Hey, Gatekeepers! Welcome back to Weekly Soap Chronicles, your one-stop shop for all the drama, twists, and shocking moments from beyond the gates. I'm your girl, Phil, and today I'm diving into the July 9th episode. And let me tell you, it was a roller coaster. But first, if you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and smash that bell so you never miss an update with a little bit of flair. So grab your popcorn and let's get into it. So first up at the precinct, Jacob is amazed when Smitty shows up bringing him some good coffee, because Marcel would never do nothing like that. They start talking about how nervous Malone has been lately, and he seems shook. Smitty wanted Marcel to know he was hacked so he could put on the pressure and crack his mask. Something big happened 2 years ago, and it's more than just about some cop on the tape. So they go over the evidence, over the payments, and the 5K and the 500K respectively. Smitty leaves to go home, then Elon pops up and asks if Jacob is good. Jacob flashes back to bumping into his father that night and Elon running off. He remembers that night because that was the night that he passed his detective's exam. His father taught him all the values and the importance of standing on more than just your people. He tells his dad that something major went down that night, and Marcel is giving him excuses, but Smitty is like a dog with a bone and won't give up. Jacob asks Elon, "Do you know what Smitty is going to find?" Elon thinks about the question for a minute. It looked like he was going to tell him the truth, but instead, he tells him, "None of this is adding up. You have a passion for justice, and it's making you see conspiracies and patterns where there are none. Let the ghosts rest, son." And Jacob is like, "Whatever you say, Pops." But we all know he's not letting this go. Meanwhile, Samantha arrives at home and complains that Martin made her come home when she was hanging out with her bestie to sing along. She was going to do a sleepover. They was going to order some wings and kick it. And he tells her, "Well, no, it's no emergency, but you staying home." And then Tyrell is like, "He is just overreacting because I had a friend over to play chess." And then Martin tells them that he's a target because of his politics and they need to be careful. They shouldn't be inviting strangers into their home. Of course, they don't understand. They keep asking why. We good children, yada, yada, yada. Martin gives up nothing. So, of course, they like, forget it. We going to our rooms. Then later, Martin has another nightmare about busboy Kenny, and Smitty wakes him up. "Why are you sleeping with a baseball bat? Tell me what's going on." But Martin, of course, still not saying nothing. "I can't tell you. I'm trying to protect our family." And Smitty is like, "You have got to tell me the truth and this secret because otherwise it's going to ruin us." Smitty is serious. The man had tears in his eyes, y'all. Okay? Of course, Martin doesn't say anything. "I'm tired. I need to go to bed." And that's what they end up doing. And nothing is resolved. No secrets is spilled. It's back to normal. Martin tells Smitty what's going on. He needs to tell him because, especially now that busboy Kenny is back, threatening him and blackmailing him. The family need to know what's going on. Am I right? Next, Marcel drags Randy into the casino, telling Joey that he found Randy at the airport about to board a flight to Bali. Joey say, "Yeah, I bet you only packed for warm weather, didn't you? That's too bad because it's cold where you going." Randy is like, wait a minute, hold up. Let me explain here. Now, what had happened was, I took old boy down there. I know I nicked him. I was gonna hit him again, but the pew jammed on me. Before I knew it, busboy Kenny took off running. So I grabbed up the money, took 10K out. I was gonna lamp for a minute to get my thoughts together and get everything right. Then I was gonna come back, pay you the 10K with interest, and finish the job. So let me just go ahead and fix this, man. But Joey is like, that ship has sailed and there are no second chances. But before Marcel could lead Randy out, Vanessa and Doug show up. Doug is like, no. I got my boys back here. That ain't finna happen. Vanessa chimes in and she co-signs. She like, no, that's not getting ready to happen. What you getting ready to do? Take him swimming with concrete shoes on? If you do that, you gonna mess up whatever business relationship you and I got going on. And Joey is like, Doug, you better check your wife. She crossing the line in the business she ain't got no business talking about. Of course, Doug is like, I can't tell Vanessa what to do. And then Vanessa is like, we getting ready to take Randy home. And then Joey is like, look, the two of them can go, but you need to stay. And then he tells her, don't you ever do nothing like that again, because you going into my other business that you ain't even a part of. And then Vanessa is like, and so what if I don't? And she gets to rubbing on him. And then the next thing you know, they start getting busy. And that was the end of that. They got a complicated relationship. So finally, over at Uptown, Ashley tells Andre, Dani is over there staring at us. Do you see that? And Andre is like, yeah, I see it, but you know what? Don't worry about it. But before they knew it, Dani came right on over and sat down at the table. Hey, I hope I'm not interrupting your little wonderful time here. And Ashley is like, well, we were in the middle of an interesting conversation. And then Dani is like, you know what? I'm surprised to see y'all together. Andre, you known as the king of the revolving door. Is Ashley just another pit stop for you? Then Andre says, there was someone who I thought could be for real, but she kept one foot in her past and was treating me like a side story. She had main character energy, much like you, Dani. And then Ashley is like, well, anyone who would let a good man like Andre slip away must be crazy. And Dani says, valid point. And Andre says, well, I wouldn't call the woman crazy. I mean, I try not to judge anyone's journey, but consistency matters and you've got to keep it real. And then Dani says, well, maybe he wasn't worth keeping a torch lit for. And then he says, well, I never leave a lady unsatisfied. And Dani says, except for one. So Ashley is like, you know what? It's been a long day and I got an early morning and I need to go home. I'm going to go on to the restroom real quick. And when I get back, we can go, okay? Andre is like, cool. And then Ashley, or Dani, I should say, it's so nice to see you taking out precious Ashley. And Andre is like, you know what? You just mad because you realize what you have thrown away. And Dani is like, you know what? I'm bored with this conversation. And Andre is like, well, you're not boring. You're just annoying and a flip-flopper. And then Dani is like, well, maybe you just can't handle complexity. And maybe that's why you done run after somebody who is so basic. She makes vanilla look spicy. Okay? Then Ashley comes back from the restroom. She and Andre bounce and leaves Dani sitting there drinking to her empty house and empty life. And that's how the episode ends. words. So that's a wrap of the July 9th episode. Gatekeepers, will Jacob uncover the truth about that night 2 years ago? And is it over for Dani and Andre? I hope not, because I do not want him with Ashley. Any rate, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Weekly Soap Chronicles. Until next time, keep it dramatic.